Hello, everyone, and welcome to another IFN interview. I'm Bruello, and today I'm once again joined by the mechanic Warren Spencer.
Brother, thank you for having me back again. It's nice to see you, mate.
Of course, man. And yeah, so Misfits 22 is happening on August 30th in Manchester, and you're fighting Dillon Danis in the first ever Misfits MMA fight for the title as well. How
Hmm.
did this fight become official?
Well, originally I was scheduled to fight Jarvis for the middleweight belt
Hmm.
at one was it 155, 70 key, and he went missing. That's it. All of a sudden, he just disappeared out of nowhere. He got busy playing Fortnite and just decided he wasn't going to defend the belt. And I was left in a position then where the promotion still wanted to have me on and put me in to the next pay-per-view because I'm so fantastic. I get so many views and so many pay-per-view sales. They could not have the mechanic back, so they had to find me an opponent. And this opponent, it's a bit more obviously unorthodox because he only has an MMA background. And initially, when I got the call to fight Dillon Danis, I accepted the fight, and I accepted the fight with open arms because I knew that I'd punch his head in because he's a shit boxer. Let's be honest, he can't strike to save his life. But Mams then said to me, "Well, listen, there's a plot twist. It's MMA rules. So do you still want
Wow.
to fight?" And I said, "Absolutely, yeah, let's do it. But why not?" The only reason why Dillon Danis wants to fight me is because he's a pussy. Think about it. For
Wow.
an MMA light heavyweight belt, he
Hmm.
wants to fight a boxer, not an MMA fighter, not another jiu-jitsu guy, not a kickboxer. He wants to fight a boxer for an MMA light heavyweight belt. Just let that process.
Of course, of course.
What kind of pussy wants to fight a boxer for an MMA belt? It says it all. If you look at his last fight, he did absolutely nothing. He walked forward into the pocket in front of Logan Paul with his hands up. He threw more punches at the referee than he threw at the actual his actual opponent, and that's because he's shit scared of throwing a punch because he knows he'll get counter punch and knock Spark out. But now look, now he's fighting someone that can strike, that will counter punch him. And what's he going to do? What is he going to do? We all know what he's going to do. He's going to dive for my ankles and link on for dear life. He's going to kiss my feet. That's what he's going to do. He's going to try and sniff my arse for 15 minutes.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, so as this is a MMA fight, how have you been preparing for this?
Um, I've just been doing some dancing in the garden, a little bit of salsa, bit of tap dancing. I've been doing some press ups every morning. I've been eating my cornflakes,
Hmm.
drinking my protein shakes, just doing all the right stuff.
I've recently seen a clip of you training with Andrew Tate. What advice has he given you for this fight?
Well, it's funny really because Andrew's obviously a very logical thinker. So am I. So are most men. But he said, "Look, we all know what he's going to do. It's as simple as that. If you look at Dillon's last fights, if you look at everything he's ever done in his life, all he's done is roll around with other men on the floor. So I expect him to do the same thing, and so does everybody else.
Hmm.
Because what else can he do? He can't strike. If he comes out, do you know what? Actually, if Dillon wants to come out and strike with me one on one and not be a pussy, not die for my ankles, then I'll take my hat off to him. I'll eat this Misfits hat right now if Dillon Danis comes out and wants to strike with me." So
Damn.
Andrew said, "Look, you know what's going to happen, so you know what to prepare for. It's obvious, and then just go and do what you do best." And that sounds like a very simple, basic plan. But let's not beat around the bush here. That is the right thing to do if you look at it logically.
For sure. And yeah, so what are your thoughts on Dillon Danis as an opponent for you?
I think he's a sausage.
A
Simple as
sausage.
that. Yeah, complete sausage. He's a pussy. He lost his
Damn.
last fight. It was the most embarrassing fight in Misfits boxing ever. Like the most embarrassing fight to ever happen in Misfits boxing. And then what happened before that? I think he lost. He's like a five fight losing streak. But given again, that's 5 fights losing to ass sniffing and rolling around with other men. And then before that, I think he had 2 MMA fights. And then look at those MMA fights, which was what, 6, 7 years ago. He had two MMA fights 6, 7 years ago. He threw some crappy little kicks.
Hmm.
I'm convinced my 9-year-old son can throw a harder kick than him, and
Wow.
9-month-old son, sorry. And he he dove for the ankles again, but this time he had a full octagon to work with. Like, we're fighting in a boxing ring.
Hmm.
Don't forget that this isn't an octagon where we
Oh
can
yeah.
press up against the cage and use the cage to his advantage, and he can get his little gay toes in between, the cage and try and pull his little tricks like he does. But this is a boxing ring, so you know if he goes for the takedown, I'm going to step out the way, and he's going to go flying through the ropes and hit one of the judges, and then we'll have to reset, and then it's back to Warren's ring again. My home, my ring. Remember, this is my home now. It's
Hmm.
not Dylan's home. The ring is my home. I've been active these past 2 years, bro. All I've done is fucking fight. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Fight after fight after fight. He has sat at home, smoked weed, probably sucked off Conor McGregor at some point, and then repeat. What else has he done? And he's done absolutely no promotion for this fight as well. He's given Luke Rockhold more beef than he has me,
Hmm.
because he's just doing this little thing. He's just terrible businessman, terrible at strategy, has no idea what to do. He's constantly clout hungry. All this guy cares about is clout. That's it. He's a clout whore. If, like, you know, he's the Bonnie Blue version of clout. Put it that way. That's it. If someone says something about him that has any kind of status or recognition, then he goes mad for it. All he wants is attention. And I give him all the attention in the world that he wants. And what's he done to promote the fight? Nothing. Zero. And the reason for that is because he has absolutely nothing to say to me. Because he knows it's shameful. It's shameful, the move that he's doing right now. Picking a boxer to fight in an MMA fight.
Crazy, man. And yeah, so what do you think are some of the strengths and the weaknesses that you see within Dylan?
Strengths, obviously. Having gay sex in the middle of an octagon. He likes to roll around with blokes, strangle men, and that's about as far as it goes. That's his only strength, actually.
Hmm.
Um, I've not really seen him get hit with a shot before. It's going to be a different game, isn't it, when you're fighting in MMA gloves? But look, I've been cracked a million times before. Has anyone knocked me out? No. So is Dylan Danis going to knock me out? No. He's built like a pudding, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's just built like a guy. He's built for cuddles. That's it. You look at me. What am I built for? I'm built to kill. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
I look like a human version of a samurai sword. He looks like a pudding, doesn't he? So
Crazy.
I'll ask him to take his top off in the next press conference if he dares, but I don't think it's going to happen. Look, it is what it is with this guy. I know his game. I know what he wants to do. I don't know how he plans to defend the belt. Because if he wants to come and win the belt, he wants to come and win the belt from me. First, he's got to get through me, which that ain't going to happen. And then secondly, he has to defend the belt. So if you're to defend an MMA belt, you have to show some skill sets. You have to show that you're a complete MMA fighter, whatever that may be. You can't just,
Course.
if you just run and dive for the ankles, someone's going to knee you in the head at some point. Someone's going to counter that, make an adjustment, and spark you out. Look what happened to Ben Askren versus Jorge Masvidal. Look what happened in that fight. Ben Askren, to be fair to him, he's a legend right now. He's pulling through his lung transplant. I wish him all the best. But Ben Askren was diving at too many ankles. He was trying to cuddle too many men. And look what happened to him. He got
Hmm.
kneed in the head, and that was it. It was the worst knockout of his career. It ended his career. It ended his MMA career, in my opinion. So he knows where that goes. But again, look at the elite level grapplers. Look at the elite level MMA fighters. Your Khabibs, your Conor McGregors. Maybe not McGregor, but Khabib is a good example of a complete fighter. He's amazing jiu-jitsu, amazing wrestling game. He's not so bad at striking. He uses the striking to set up his shots and set up his takedowns, things like that. So I just don't think he's a complete fighter. I know what a complete fighter is when I see one, and Dylan ain't. He's got holes in his game, and I'm going to expose them holes on the 30th.
Wow. And how do you think this fight will go?
Not past the first round. I don't think so. I'd be very, 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 very surprised if it goes all three rounds.
So the fight is going to be 3 rounds then.
Yeah, three 5-minute rounds. MMA rules. I'm going to take his head clean off and throw it into the crowd in the first round. And that's it.
Okay. I do have a question about the launch press conference. Why weren't you involved there at the launch press conference with Dillon Danis?
Look, again, I keep saying this over and over again, bro. But what happens every time my name slides across the desk? You know, I should be called the magician, not the mechanic. I should be called the magician or David Blaine, because people just fucking disappear. As soon as I get involved, they're just gone, finished, complete. No one knows where they are.
Wow.
Apparently, you know, Dylan's scared to catch a flight. I don't know, or something like that.
Mhm.
If you're scared to catch flights, then, you know, what does that make you?
A pussy.
Exactly. Your words, not mine, bro. But Dylan will be calling you out next, bro.
Damn!
He's calling everybody else out. Everybody else but me. He's scared.
Crazy. And yeah, do you think Dillon is actually going to show up to the next press conference?
Well, if he doesn't show up to the next press conference, he ain't going to show up to the fight, because the next press conference is like 3 days before the fight, and he has to get a plane to the fight.
Mhm.
So the question you're actually asking me is does Dillon Danis want to get paid? The answer is yes,
Mhm.
because he's skin. The second question you're asking me is does Dillon Danis, in his mind, want to beat the easiest person ever for an MMA belt? The answer is yes. That's why he picked me, because I'm a boxer. I know that I was bottled down to there was a few other different fighters that were in the mix, including my name, obviously. And these other fighters, let's just say, had an MMA record. They had some sort of background which involved mixed martial arts. That therefore posed more of a threat than I did to Dillon Danis.
Mhm.
So Dillon clearly sees me as the weakest link. That's why he went for me, because he's a pussy and he's a bully and he's an online troll. All right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I am Batman and I'm going to take him out. He's the Joker. Batman needs the Joker. Batman hasn't got a Joker. What have I got to live for? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And I do want to go back to something that we talked before now. So you previously mentioned that you were originally meant to fight Jarvis. So what was the actual reason why that fight never happened?
Yeah, so what I think is, I think he's scared.
Hmm.
I think he got fat. And I think he plays Fortnite full time now.
Damn.
Bro, so some people just haven't got it in them. Some people are happy with a couple of $100,000 a year, eating candy, drinking bullshit, eating fucking cheese puffs and playing Fortnite all night and getting fat. And so some people, they're good. They're good with that. They're good. They're happy. But I'm not. I'm fucking built different.
Of course.
I'm not happy with that existence. He is. He's cool. It's fine. He's got his life now. Everything's all together. His bills are paid. He hasn't got to take another punch again. Fine. All right. Well, you continue to be a loser then, bro. And I'll come and take what was supposed to be yours. I'll take the belt. Because if you don't defend the belt, bro, you're gonna have to relinquish it at some point. And who's gonna be there to take it? The first person there to take it is me. And will I defend the light heavyweight MMA belt and the Misfits middleweight belt consecutively? Yes, absolutely. Fine, no problem at all. There's nothing that those little featherweight 155-pounders can do to me to hurt me. Physically, Jarvis knows he can't hurt me. That's why he didn't rock up. If Jarvis has got any hope of beating me, it's a points win, and that ain't going to happen because I'll box his head off and he knows it. But look, I got nothing against Jarvis. I can see where he comes from. I understand what he wants to do if he wants to sit and play his games and make some money and chill. I get it. Like I don't, hold anything against him for that. But what I do want is the belt. So that's why we've got a problem. So give me a belt and then go back to eating Wotsits.
Damn. I do want to go back to the Dillon Danis fight now. So you're moving to a different weight class as you're gonna fight at light heavyweight. How has
Mm.
the transition been from welterweight to light heavyweight for you?
Well, so I probably walk around at like 79, 78 key.
Hmm.
So fighting at light heavy for me is actually a more comfortable weight, to be honest. I liked going down there and destroying all those little piss ants at 70 kg. But I actually like to go up in weight because it's good. I haven't got a diet. I haven't got to restrict myself with my calories. In fact, I have to eat more food now,
Oh,
which is a
that,
bit of a weird one for me. I'm used to eating, this whole eating business. I don't actually enjoy doing it half of the time. I feel like I'm just stuffing my face, and I shouldn't be. I live a very, a clean life. I
mhm.
work very hard for it. And I train all the time, but now I get to fight a weight which I'm more comfortable at. I get to bulk out a little bit. I get to eat more. I get to have more energy. And look, make no mistake about it. When you put more weight on,
Mhm.
naturally, if you're 4 or 5 key heavier than you're used to, your cardiovascular abilities decrease.
Yeah,
And that's not me just making this up. That's just fucking physics and biology, right?
of course.
So you have to fight in a way which is going to be efficient for you, and I'm very good at doing that now. I've gone past that stage, bro, of fighting like an amateur and just swinging for the rafters in the first minute and then having nothing left for the last two. I'm a more calculated, matured fighter now. I feel like I haven't even reached my prime yet, and I'm gonna prove that on April the 30th. I'm gonna show everyone why I'm supposed to be there. Look, again, there's many other opponents that could have been there, that should have been there, would have been there, but they didn't. I'm the one in there, and there's a very very good reason for that. You know,
Yeah.
Dylan thinks it's because it's the easiest fight, but you know, I uh, I know it's going to be a heavy night for that guy, and if he isn't training now, like anywhere near as hard as I am,
Mhm.
and he just thinks he's going to come in, tire me out, and then strangle me when I'm tired, oh man, it's going to be a rough night for him. It's going to be such a rough
Wow.
night.
I now want to do some fan questions. The first fan question comes from Scott Kelly. If you win
Mm.
this fight against Dylan Danis, do you think you will stick to MMA or do you want to go back to boxing?
Well, there's a saying that Mike Tyson said back in his day, and he said, "Before you become the champion, you have to be the champion."
Mhm.
I believe I'm the champion already,
Fire.
and when the belt gets wrapped around the waist, I'll defend that belt like a champion. So
Mhm.
the answer to that question is yes. Look, if any of these MMA guys want to come in and have a fight, we can do it. I don't care. It's my job, it's my duty to defend the belt like a champion. And if someone wants to come and try and take it from me, cool. They're gonna get a fucking fight, but cool.
Awesome. The next question is from Davis Grew. What is your end goal in boxing?
My end goal in boxing is to beat everybody, knock everybody out, win all the belts, make all the money in the world, and then bounce while I've still got my health. Because I don't want brain damage. Let's be honest. Some of these guys, they stick around too long. They've made their money. They're addicted to the fight. They're addicted to the thrill. I guarantee you, there's thousands of more things that I can do when I'm done with the fight game to entertain myself. You know, and look, when it comes to doing anything, I am the perfect human being. If I want to go play golf, be the best at golf after this, I will. If I want
Wow.
to be a world class table tennis player, then I fucking will. If I want to be the next master chef, then I will. You
Oh,
know, there's a million different things out there for me after this, but right now, unfortunately for Dylan, he's going to get beat by a boxer at his own game on the 30th of August.
amazing, bro. Then the third question comes from Jack Bird. Will you feel bad after ground and pounding Dylan Dennis?
Well, if it gets to the point where it's ground and pound,
Hmm.
I'm not going to feel bad for ground and pounding him because I'll be there because of him. So if I just rain punches on him from above,
Yeah.
that's his own fault. That's his own fault for going for the cuddle. Tactical ball sniff. Again, it's your fault, mate. So no, I'm not going to feel bad.
The next question comes from Seeking Maulana. What's your experience sparring with the Tate brothers and how did you meet them?
So I met the Tate brothers at their house in Bucharest for the first ever time. It
Mhm.
was an event which they held at their house on their like internal community, the War Room, and the War Room is basically a select group of individual men who are dedicated to the cause of bettering themselves, bettering their families, bettering their loved ones, keeping in good health, building business, sharing ideas,
Mhm.
and most of all protecting and looking after each other through brotherhood and loyalty. And I was lucky enough to go to Andrew's house a few years ago now and meet him there on one of these brotherhood events, and the rest is history. Fortunately, we got on very well and developed good friendship through his network, and you know, and that's it really. Next thing, we're doing some trains together. I speak to Andrew and Tristan almost every day,
Mhm.
and yeah, they're brothers of mine now, and I feel very lucky to have them in my corner. And a lot of people can say what they want to say about
Yes.
my relationship with them, but we all know it comes from one place. What's the saying, bro? Hate never comes from above. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's the story. And we just did some training as well a couple of weeks ago now in Bucharest as well. And yeah,
Amazing, man. And now the final fan question comes from KD Posters. Will Andrew Tate ever come to Misfits?
will Andrew Tate ever come to Misfits? I mean, it's a big question. It's a very big question,
Mhm.
and I think it would change the game if he did. I think it would bring the misfits boxing and the crossover boxing and now the MMA space to a whole new level. Let's face it, the man is global. He is the most talked about man on planet Earth and was the most Googled man on planet Earth at one point. So, these are just facts now, aren't they? I'd say never. You never know what's going to happen, but would it change the game? I think it'd be the most exciting things to ever happen to Misfits, in my opinion. So, yeah, but we'll see. You never know.
Of course, man. If he ever fights on like Misfits, who do you think would be a good opponent for him?
You know what? It's anyone he wants.
Okay.
He has that luxury now. It's anyone that he wants, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Mhm.
Whoever Andrew picks, the world's going to tune in. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference to the pay-per-view sales. Obviously, you get a huge name in, like I don't know, Nate Diaz, someone like that, or a bigger name, Conor McGregor. But then you're going to reach a new pay category, getting these guys on board. But the problem that you have, bro, is that when you involve high profile, high status, high net worth individuals like McGregor and and Nate Diaz, then they want a slice of the pie in the back end. As you know, I'm an intelligent businessman. I understand how this works. And if you have a competition on the back end of the pay per view sales, and they all want to cut. Let's just say Andrew wants a cut of 50%, and Nate wants a cut of 50%. Then you know it's it's a bigger piece of a smaller pizza. Whereas if you have Andrew against the bum, then Andrew's going to take a smaller slice of the pizza, but the pizza's bigger, right?
Of course.
So it's one of them. You could make any fight up that you wanted to,
Mhm.
but regardless, it's going to be exciting. I think realistically, if Andrew's going to come back and have a fight, he's been out of the ring for a few years now, so he'll have some ring rust regardless, because of the energy. So I think he picks whoever he wants. But look, any of these guys in the Misfits roster are bums compared to Andrew. Let's be honest, he's a
Wow.
multiple a world champion, three-time kickboxing world champion with a very credible record. So These guys in Misfits have had 4 fights, so it doesn't even compare. He said Andrew's had what, 75, 76 fights.
Yeah. So finally, what's your message towards Dillon Danis ahead of this MMA clash on Misfits 22?
My message to Dylan Danis is get out of bed, start promoting the fight, you bum. And any of you fans out there that want some free tickets to come and watch me butcher Dylan Danis live, comment on his posts, put at the mechanic. Dylan Danis is a butt sniffer, and you'll be in a chance to win free tickets. Dylan Danis' Instagram, at Dylan Danis, comment on one of his posts. You are a bum sniffer, and you're in a chance to win. I'll put you all in a draw. I've got 5 VVIP ring sides available for you. I have outer circle, inner circle, and I'm going to give. You know what? I'm going to be super generous. I'm going to give away 15 tickets to
Wow.
15 of you at Dylan Danis. You are a bum sniffer. That's it. That's your entry done. Let's go.
Amazing. So yeah, guys, you heard it here first. Free tickets for Misfits from Warren Spencer. So yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see you all next time. See ya.
Thanks for having me, bro.